Hello, hello, and welcome to Tapping Tuesday. My name is Fable, and for the next hour, we will do EFT, also known as tapping. Tapping. So, if that's what you were expecting, congratulations, you're in the right place. If it is your first time here, welcome. If it is not your first time here, welcome back. I'm so glad to get to spend this time with you. I'm going to do a quick rundown of how this hour is going to go, and then we'll jump right into the tapping. It's a little bit different than a normal EFT session, obviously, because I can't really interact with you. I can't see how you're responding. So I tend to be very overly vague with my prompts. And also, I give you ways that you could even adjust what I have chosen that could make it more applicable to you, especially if we start tapping on a subject that it's not really something that's on your table right now. What I do deeply encourage through the session is empowerment. I really want you to listen to your own body and follow your own pacing of things. I tend to stay in one tapping spot the entire time, and I do this for a few different reasons, which I will explain right now. I tend to stay on the hand or on the chest. Those are just my preferences. It's easier for my body to tap a long period in those two spots. The reason why that's okay to do is because the stimulation that we're looking for to talk to our subconscious brain happens if you only use one spot. So let's say you wear glasses on a regular basis, or you've got a headache, or it's just really overstimulating for you to tap on a certain spot. It's okay for you to not use that particular spot. Now, every acupoint has its own benefits outside of this particular little channel, but one tapping spot with EFT will do. So it is okay to use these two. Now, if you want to go through all the tapping spots, I encourage you to do that, but I want you to do it at your own pace. I don't want you to worry about the timing of following me. Because it's happening in your body, right? The transformation is happening inside of you. So I don't want you to worry about, you're really in a good place, and then you look at me and I'm here, and then you pull out of that space to go, oh no, do I tap through the spots that I missed now? I'm behind. None of that. Let's see. Also, I keep the chat live throughout the entire session. All of the suggestions that we tap on during this hour come from you, from our community. And there are two different ways that you can offer suggestions. One is through the live chat, which I do my very, very best to continue to look at through the session and incorporate as many ideas as I can. And the second way is if that feels too vulnerable to put what you're wanting to tap on just out on the internet, you can email me. And my email is at the top of the chat. I will also speak it out loud. It is Fable, FABLE, at EFTuniverse.com. And that way, you and I could chat about something. I can give you extra pointers, and I can bring it up anonymously the following week so that you still see an example of how to tap on that. I also sometimes turn the emails that you send to me into the videos that I post every Friday. So it's all helpful. It's all wonderful to contribute to our community. And we do this weekly to give you an opportunity to create a tapping practice. Dr. Dawson Church is a very proactive tapper. He taps every single day, and he really wants you to have an opportunity to feel confident in your own tapping practice. So that's why we do this every single week. And I'm so glad that you're here to do it with me today. All right, with that, I'm going to say hi, and then we'll do just a quick grounding and get right into the tap. I do have one community email that I'll share when we get to that point. Hello, Serena. I'm happy you're here too. Hi, Danette. Hi, Tanya. Hello, Joyce. Oh, I'm glad you're looking forward to today. Hello, Mary. Hey, Jackie. Zarina, is anyone else feeling very low energy today, or energy lately? Yes. Yes, I definitely, I personally can relate to that, but I struggle when weather gets cold. My body doesn't tolerate that very well. So that's what I kind of put it to. But there are so many reasons, right, why that could be happening. Let's see. I will go ahead and share the community email. Basically, what our person said is, can we tap on not being able to help a family member, a loved one, and then dealing with the feelings of rejection because of not being able to help? So There's a couple of different ways that this could be approached or experienced, right? It could be a rejection because they just don't want to accept help. They're strong and they're going to figure it out on their own, or they don't want to admit that there's an issue there. Maybe they don't see you as someone who has valuable information. Well, you're not an expert, or maybe you're an expert, but you're not my expert, sort of a thing. That can be hurtful and frustrating. And then a multitude of other ways that can come across. And then the part that I would like to zero in on for that would be the rejection side of it. And the fact of using the word rejection with that. Because when someone doesn't accept our help and we feel feelings about that, that's normal to feel feelings about not being able to help someone that we love and care for, especially if we're like, I know this would really help you if you just please. Um, but there are other things that can come into play with that as well, such as survival techniques where we need to be needed or we need to contribute. If we don't contribute, then something universally bad is going to happen. Like, I need to be able to do this so that I can maintain my good person status. And whether you mean that in a social aspect or like a God type aspect, there are a lot of triggers that can come from that type of rejection. It can be a way of, but this is how I know to connect with people, and you're not letting me do that. So now I don't know how to connect with you. Um, so if that rings a bell for anybody else, there's that. That was emailed into me. I saw the chat move a little bit. Hi, Blast Scout. Hi, Trisha. Glad to have you both here. And other than that, we'll just take suggestions of whatever all of you would like to tap on. But for right now, let's go ahead and get grounded. So go ahead and just notice that you have a body and you can look at it if you want, or you can just feel the boundaries of your body. Notice your back, notice your waist, notice your arms and your hands, notice your legs and your feet. And notice how your body is positioned and see if your body's asking to be in a different position. Maybe uncross or cross your legs if you want to pull your body in tighter, or if you feel like maybe you need to stretch and stretch out your body a little bit. Maybe you're thirsty. Maybe you need to go to the bathroom. Those are simple things that you can do to let your body know this is a moment where we're going to take care of ourselves. Okay, so go ahead and give yourself that permission. If you have to walk away and go to the bathroom, now's a great time. You're not going to miss much, I promise. Okay, and with that, let's go ahead and take a breath in and out. And in a moment, we're going to take another deep breath. And with that one, I want you to just notice how it feels in your body. And we're not judging where we're breathing it in or how deep it is. We're not trying to make it deeper or come in a different area. We're just noticing. And if you notice a sensation like your clothes sliding, against your body while you breathe in, if you move your body at all when you breathe, just notice those things. Okay. And let's take another breath in and out. Nicely done. Alrighty, so let's see. Hello, Peg, mentally drained. And Trisha, I'm sure we can all find some form of rejection to work on. Great idea. I appreciate your support for that. Well, let's start with low energy and then get to rejection, because that's kind of a big topic. And I would like to get your nervous systems into more of a balance point if we can, before jumping into that, because that can bring up a lot of things. So let's go ahead and start tapping. Okay, thank you, Blast Scout. Have to feed my pup and we'll catch up. Feeling beat down right now. Hate my job and can't get out of my own way. I'm so sorry. That is a lot to deal with, and especially in the recognition of self-struggle makes it worse. At least it does for me, because then I'm also on top of that judging myself. Needing energy for the upcoming holiday craziness. That's fair. All right, so let's tap on the low energy. As I allow myself to focus on my own body. And I notice my energy level is not where I would like it to be. Even though my energy level is not where I would like it to be, I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Even though right now I'm so tired, I'm so worn out, and I could use more energy, but I have no idea where it's going to come from. I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself anyway. And even though I have no idea where this other energy might come from, I can agree to hold space and be surprised at it showing up. And as I remain curious and hold this space in finding energy, I deeply and completely accept myself. My body, my tired, tired body. My mind, my tired, tired mind. My soul, my tired, tired soul. Well, yeah, of course I'm so tired. There's so much to be tired about. Maybe I'm not sleeping well. Maybe I'm not sleeping enough. Maybe I have too much to do. Maybe I feel heavily burdened by everything that's going on. Whether I feel exhausted for these reasons or others, I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Okay, well, accepting myself is all good, but that's not going to change how tired I am. I mean, nothing can change how tired I am. It's like a car with gas, right? You run out, it's gone. Even if this is what feels true currently in my body, I continue to hold space to discover another truth. Okay, well, what could another truth be? Hmm. Well, a car can't get its own gas. So while that's true that a car just sits there, it doesn't have to be true for me. And while I could equate food to my fuel, isn't it true that there are parts of my body that are literally organs that create energy? Mitochondria. I'm being a little bit of a geek right now. Yeah, I learned something about that. So if my body knows how to produce energy, and I do eat food, but I don't feel energized. I wonder, what fuel is it that I need? Hmm. Fuel. Fuel for my body. Fuel for my tired, tired body. Fuel for my mind. for my tired, tired mind. Fuel for my soul, my tired, tired soul. I wonder, have my body or my mind or my soul given me any clues about what type of fuel that they want? Yes. No. I don't know. As I consider what clues might look like to give me back energy, I deeply and completely accept myself. Well, I wonder what would those clues even look like? Hmm. Maybe it was when I felt the desire to cry and I held it in. Maybe it was when I really wanted to go get my weighted blanket or a fan, a glass of ice water, some other item of comfort that I didn't. Maybe it was when I felt like I needed to lie down for a minute, but it was the middle of the day. Maybe it was when I just wanted to tune out and doom scroll on social media for a while or turn on music and take a break. And I didn't. Okay. Some of those sound like self care, but some of those sound unhealthy, like things I've been told not to do. So, how do I know? How do I know what will feel good to me? As I wonder how to tell what will be helpful and what will not, I deeply and completely accept myself. What if, instead of trying to decipher it through science or experts or anything else that's outside of my body, outside of my mind, or outside of my soul, what if I paid attention to what I immediately felt if I were to engage these prompts that I'm feeling? And then, if it doesn't feel better, I could stop. But maybe it will feel better. Maybe if I cry, I'll feel relieved. Maybe if I scroll on social media, I'll laugh or I'll be touched by something lovely that otherwise doesn't exist in my current environment. Maybe if I take a moment to lie down, there's some tension or pain in my body that will get a chance to go away. Well, maybe, but I have so much to do. Isn't it irresponsible? Shouldn't I get everything done first? As I consider how to place importance on what is needing attention, I deeply and completely accept myself. Maybe I wasn't taught to prioritize how I'm feeling, and it's new for me. Maybe I have pride in how much I can push and get done, even if I'm running on super low energy. And I don't want to lose a part of my identity. Maybe I've been taught to feel guilty and selfish if I dare stop before other things are done and take care of me. Taking care of me, taking care of my body, taking care of my mind, taking care of my soul. I wonder, could it be possible that there's a spectrum, a gradient of not taking care of myself at all, and that being a detriment, to only taking care of myself and not paying attention to anything else, and that being a detriment? And wouldn't that mean that there's somewhere in the middle that's okay? And maybe I am really involved in a lot of intense things, and the best I can do is squeak out 3 minutes right before bed. That's still 3 minutes, and it matters. Or maybe all I need to find is permission, and I do have time that I can commit to experiencing new habits and taking care of myself. And that's okay. I give myself permission to explore the potential of this new care spectrum, to find a place where I can exist, that I can exist in taking care of myself as well. And I acknowledge that this sweet spot on the spectrum could move on a daily, maybe hourly basis in my life. And I give myself permission to test it out and to be adaptable with it. And maybe I try little tiny increments over time, and that's great. And maybe I try a whole bunch at once and I kind of bounce back and forth to try and find that spot, and that's great. Because isn't the whole purpose figuring out a way for everything to get what it needs? And shouldn't I, the person who's doing the doing, be an integral part of that consideration? Consideration, considering myself, considering my energy, my replenishment. And as I allow myself to be filled, to be fed, and to remain curious on all of the different ways that that can happen, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, pause on tapping and take a breath in. Nicely done. Now take just a moment and think about how you felt when you first started tapping on that and not having any energy, and how you feel now about that. Now, your energy level may have shifted, but we more tapped on permission and the availability of energy and the permission to receive energy. So, notice if that feels more possible now, because your brain is so smart and finding ways to feed itself. It's really, really good at that, but it tends to be blocked by permission and by fear, and by safety. If there's something that we say, but that's not safe, then that's an issue. So if we can unlock those things, then oftentimes the solutions just come pouring in. So Nicely done. And let's see what we're going to tap on next. I know we're doing rejection. Okay, cool. Um, hmm. I know we've already talked about this a little bit on ways that this can be applied. The root of rejection, when that's really painful, tends to have something older attached to it. Rejection is never fun. It's not one of those things that anybody's ever excited to experience. Sometimes it can be relieving because maybe we are being rejected from something that we didn't really want in the first place, right? And maybe we were people pleasing or we felt pressured to try, and then we're alleviated from that if we're rejected from it. But more often than not, we feel like it means something about us. So, as you consider where in your life that you might feel rejected, and this could be rejected from closeness or an offering to a loved one, it could be a rejection of um, your workplace and you being able to kind of climb that corporate ladder, however that might look for you. Rejection, maybe in being recognized in a certain way in your own family and your own community, maybe with even in yourself. Maybe you really struggle with self rejection, which would be a form of resisting like self love. Um, Oh, there was one other way I wanted to mention it. Oh, and rejecting even like positive things as well. So maybe you have people who are very supportive of you and give you compliments and say all of the right things, right? But you don't feel it. You can't let it in, and that doesn't feel good because you don't understand why am I rejecting the things that I want when they're coming right at me? Okay, so but what does it mean when rejection is experienced? What does that mean? So let's tap starting there. Go ahead and start tapping, and we're just going to talk for a minute. As I think about rejection and I allow myself to focus in on a particular experience, it feels important for me right now. I give myself permission to experience it in my body. I give myself permission to think about aspects of what has happened if I want to. If it's overwhelming, I give myself permission to not think about it at all. But as I tune into these negative feelings and this negative experience of what I'm noticing rejection is for me, I deeply and completely accept myself, even though rejection is painful. And I recognize that because I have pain from rejection, I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. And even if there are parts of me that don't want to examine this and don't believe it can get better and really wants to just run away from it, I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself anyway. It makes sense to not want to experience it the first time or the second time or the millionth time. I don't like these feelings. But I wonder, what exactly am I feeling? What does rejection mean to me? What did I decide must be true about me because of this rejection? Rejection. This rejection. This rejection in my life. What it means. What rejection means is true. What rejection reveals is true about me. As I consider what I feel is true about me because I was rejected, I may know exactly what it is. I may not know. But whether or not I'm aware or able to put words to what this rejection definitely means about me, I know that parts of me know because I feel it. I wonder, what do I feel? Do I feel shame? Do I feel anger? Do I feel judgment? Do I feel impatience? Do I feel hurt? Do I feel lonely? Do I feel stupid? Do I feel vulnerable? As I consider any and all of the feelings that I experience when being rejected, I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. And I wonder, well, isn't this what everybody feels when they're rejected? Yes. No. I don't know. I wonder, why wouldn't I know? Rejection is a very well known experience. There are movies, there are TV shows written around it. It's a premise that isn't foreign in really any scenario. So I wonder, if it's so familiar, how could I be confused about how it feels for myself and possibly for others? Hmm. As I consider how rejection could be more complex than I originally thought, I deeply and completely accept myself. And I continue to be curious. Maybe it's because it could be something else, just with a different label. What? What does that mean? How could rejection be something else? Well, what if I decided that rejection is a boundary? Okay, I suppose A boundary could make sense. All right. If I accept that rejection equals enforcement of a boundary, then what does that mean about the rules of this boundary? Would it mean that I'm not good enough? Would it mean that I'm not seen? I'm not heard? I'm not loved? I'm not lovable? I'm not trusted? I'm not wanted? As I consider all of these possibilities of what I maybe have determined are true because of experiencing rejection/boundary, I deeply and completely accept myself. And I wonder, what if this boundary happens to be an expression by the other person that has nothing to do with me? I'm sorry. What? That makes no sense. I'm the one engaging. I'm the one reaching out. Of course, it has to do with me. Even if I feel like, of course, it has to do with me, I allow myself to continue to be curious. Well, is it possible that this boundary was created just for me? Possibly, maybe. But wouldn't it be more likely that this boundary has existed and I just stumbled upon it? Okay, let's go with that. Let's go with I stumbled upon a boundary. I still had an outcome I didn't like. Okay, I wonder, did they create that boundary or that response in my own body? Or did it exist before they exerted theirs? Is it possible that I was already afraid that I wasn't good enough? I was afraid that I already wasn't lovable. I was already afraid I wasn't wanted. I wasn't smart enough. And when they asserted that boundary for their own reason, boy, it lit that up for me. Hmm. My response, my response to their response. And I may have an idea of why their boundaries exist. And I may not really know. But isn't it true that regardless of how they feel, I seem to have my own predetermined answers? as to why. And of course, I have feelings about it. I wanted a connection, it didn't happen. There wasn't the follow through that I maybe anticipated or desired. And it's okay for me to have feelings about that, of course, even big feelings about that. But I wonder, does it have to mean all the other stuff? Does it have to mean I'm not good enough? I wasn't accepted. I wasn't loved. I wasn't chosen. Yes. Yes, it does. No, maybe not. I don't know. But I would like to know. How would I even begin to approach that? What if this rejection response is so deeply buried in my past or in so many little pockets of trauma that it would take years to figure it out? I wonder, is there a different way? A different way. Feeling rejected. A different way. Well, what if I didn't stop at my first thought? What if I allowed my feelings, all of the feelings connected to the rejection, but then I also allowed other feelings and other thoughts, the good thoughts, the supportive feelings? Oh, I don't have any of those. Mm, I don't do supportive thoughts or supportive feelings. Those are supposed to come from my experiences, from other people. Even if I currently have a really, really hard time offering that to myself, I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. And I give myself permission to try. Because what if the rejection really is just their own boundary that may or may not make any logical sense? And what if it has nothing to do with me, but I'm perceiving it that way because I'm already afraid? I'm already afraid that it's going to show me something that I suspect is true, but I don't want to face. What if it means an opportunity for me to have a conversation with me so that I can begin to determine how much truth really exists in this rejection? This rejection, the real truth, the real truth in this rejection. This boundary, my fears, conversations with myself about my fears. I wonder what could be one small way right now that I could offer to myself to make this feel less, less scary, less intense, less hard? What if I allowed myself every time I experience or re experience a thought, a memory, a moment in real time, I experience rejection, I say something to myself like, this hurts, but I accept myself anyway. That's not what I wanted, but I choose me. And maybe it'll feel cheesy. Maybe it'll feel really weird. Maybe it won't even feel honest at first. I still give myself permission to try. Because isn't it true that receiving those words would be comforting? And maybe a person outside of myself could offer them, but maybe not. But I'm always there. So maybe I choose to accept myself, even if I'm being rejected by someone else. Even if someone else has their own reasons for asserting a boundary that I didn't want. And I choose to release the expectation that that means something horrible about me. And instead, it means my feelings got hurt. And I allow myself time to process and feel supported as I figure out what to do next. Rejected. Boundaries. My expectations. What it means. Supporting myself. Accepting myself. And as I give myself permission to feel this out, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, go ahead and pause and take a breath. Take just a moment and experience how you're feeling. And notice if your body is feeling more relaxed, more open, if you've got some tingliness happening, if you are yawning, sighing, crying, having positive thoughts, having a perception change. All of those are signs that you have reached a space in your subconscious brain that said, "Ooh, I like this. Let's go with this thought instead." And it's going to continue to build those new bridges and correlations, even though you're no longer tapping on it. And think back to how you felt when we first started tapping on rejection. Is it less painful? Just the word. And if you want to think back on if you zeroed in on something specific, does it feel a little bit more distant? Maybe not resolved, because there might need to be some more direct work done on that. But do you feel like there are other possible explanations other than the fact that you were just denied, that it maybe has something to do with the other person? Alrighty, we have a little bit more time, so we'll do one more little tap. Oh, tap on grief. Okay. Yay, donut. I'm so happy. Yay, Virginia. And I feel calmer about having it. That's good, Trisha. You've said this already, Fable. Can we add rejection of self? I'm sorry I didn't see that before or like during that tap, Tonya. So I hope that um, touched on that for you. Um, energy moving. Awesome. Okay. Let's go ahead and tap lightly on grief. And I will make this broad enough. So I'll say, Mary, for you, use the word grief. I am going to use the language of like this thing that's weighing me down. Okay, so whatever that is, it could be this lack of energy, this to do list, this management of emotions with family, this concern about the year being over, whatever it is. When you think about it, you go, oh, that's the thing. And it could be a physical thing too. It could be if you've got pain in your body, if you're having trouble sleeping, if you're having menopausal experiences. It doesn't have to be like the biggest, worst thing happening in your life. There is a lot of success and a lot of support that can happen by just tapping on things that are easier to release. And that's not dismissing bigger things. That's simply letting bigger things not, first of all, have to take precedence all the time, but also allows you to start something and complete something without a lot of effort attached to it. So I would say if you're acceptable to this proposition, choose something smaller. Choose a little thing, like around if you were to do the SUD scale, like a 3 or a 4 on it. You can totally go bigger than that if you want. If that's what serves you best in this session, please do that as well. But if you're like, yeah, I don't really know what to pick, then there's some guidance for you. Alrighty, so this thing that's weighing me down, let's go for it. As I tap for just a few minutes by focusing on this thing that's weighing me down, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I can't possibly conceive of how this can be resolved in just a few moments of tapping because of how much this is weighing me down, I still choose right now to deeply and completely accept myself. Even though this thing is weighing me down and has been for a while, and maybe I believe that letting go of it will take just as long, I still choose right now to deeply and completely accept myself anyway. And I wonder, what is in charge of letting things go? What part of me does that? I know that when I breathe in, my lungs take in the air, the red blood cells carry that oxygen around. So that's their job. I know when I swallow food and liquid that goes into my stomach and it does all kinds of squishy things and acid and then that moves along, and there are all of these really distinct jobs that exist in my body. But whose job is it to let go of heavy things? Whose job? Whose job to let go? Letting go. Well, obviously it's my job because I'm aware of it, and self-help books and workshops and uh, groups. That's what they tell me, right? That it's my job. But isn't all of this me? So again, what part of me lets go of stuff as I consider what part of me literally has the job of letting go of heavy things? I deeply and completely accept myself. Well, probably the brain, right? The brain has the short term and the long term memory. The subconscious brain stores, oodles and oodles of memories and imagery and beliefs and systems. Okay. Okay. So I will say my brain or my subconscious brain. It's the job of that part of me. So I wonder if it's up to me and that's where it's stored, well, then how do I get it to let go? Maybe I could just say, let it go. Yes? No. I don't know. Well, why would it be a no? Why couldn't this heavy thing just be lifted? Well, it can't be easy because then that would mean it didn't have any importance in the first place. 'Cause things that are important are never easy. Hmm. Well, it's complex, right? And things that are complex, they're never easy. Hmm. As I consider why it's not possible for this heavy thing to be relieved easily, I deeply and completely accept myself. And I wonder, well, adjusting pathways in the brain isn't easy. Like I don't even think they do that in surgery. Like that's not a simple thing, but the brain is really good at it. And it does it all the time. So maybe it's okay that it's not simple. Maybe it's okay that it's complex. But then what would be the problem? What does my brain need from me in order for things to feel lighter? In order for this heavy thing to become less heavy, less heavy. Well, I wonder, do I feel ready? Because isn't it true that that's how I contribute to my body in general? I eat when it's a good time to eat, when I feel ready, when I feel hungry, when I have, a planned schedule that I worked out to be a good schedule for me. When I go to the bathroom, right? I go when I'm ready. That one makes a lot of sense. And this heavy thing, this hard thing, am I ready? Am I ready to let it go? Yes. No. I don't know. I wonder, is it possible for it to feel lighter anyway, even if I'm not ready to let it go yet? Even if there are layers that I don't understand, but that I do want it to feel better. Is that possible? As I consider what is possible, I deeply and completely accept myself. Well, I know my brain changes and updates according to my preferences all the time. I've changed my mind about a lot of things. My favorite color, my favorite activity, my favorite food, my least favorite food. All of these things change. And that wasn't complicated. That was an experience and input. So maybe just like those pathways, even if they were deeply ingrained pathways, right? Maybe I had a preference for a really long time and then it changed. I give myself permission for my beliefs surrounding this heavy thing to also be different, even if I'm not ready to let go of it yet. I agree for it to be two different considerations, and I give myself permission to have relief in both ways, both in letting it go when I'm ready and in allowing myself to feel better even if I'm not. And I give myself permission to receive whatever I need to feel a companionship, to feel safe and comforted as I process this heavy thing. And I allow myself to trust that my body, my brain, knows what it's doing, does a really good job. And now that we're collaborating on this, I trust that this can really be my outcome. This heavy thing, my support, this heavy thing, feeling better. And as I allow this to unfold and feel really good, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, go ahead and pause and take a deep breath. Nicely done. And think back just a moment, whatever the heavy thing was, notice, does it feel lighter now? Does it feel better? And that was about a 10-minute tap. So uh, sometimes it can be really empowering to notice how just 10 minutes can make a difference. Thank you for staying a few minutes late with me. I hope that you have felt seen and heard and cared for. I hope that your body is feeling lighter and happier and better. We love you and we care for you. I will be thinking about you. I hope you have a wonderful week. And I hope I get to see you next Tuesday. But just in case we don't, there will always be a recording and I will be posting a video later on this week. So take care. Email me if you have questions about anything. I'm here for you. And I will see you soon. Mwah.